So I woke up this morning and everybody and mama talking about Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg. And some of you know she's that black woman on The View. And apparently Whoopi said something about the Jews or something. And now everybody's on fire, and apparently she apologized and all kind of stuff. So I wanted to ask my experts about this because I did see it. My producer showed it to me. And I thought, this is a very interesting story to me. Very interesting. But I want to know what my experts think, and I want to know what you all out there in the world think about this story concerning Whoopi Goldberg. She's black. She's black. This is from the Daily Mail. Whoopi Goldberg made headlines yesterday when she claimed that the Holocaust was not about race on The View. So I'm playing the whole little segment there where they were discussing this, and I want you to observe the attitudes and the responses to the other folks on the panel with Whoopi Goldberg. I guess they host and all that kind of crap. Watch this.
Well, also, if you're going to do this, then let's be truthful about it, because the Holocaust isn't about race. No, it's not about race.
Ethnicity.
No, it's about
a different race.
But it's not about race. It's not about race.
What is it about?
Because it's about man's inhumanity to man. That's what it's about.
But it's about white supremacy. It's
Well,
about
but
going
it's
after
not
Jews
about
and
race.
gypsies and
But these are two
Romans.
white groups of people.
Well, they
How
were
do we
after black
They
people
didn't see
too.
them as white.
And they were
But you're
after
missing the
homosexuals.
point. You're missing the point. The
Yeah.
minute you turn it into race, it goes down this alley. Let's talk about it for what it is. It's how people treat each other. It's a problem. It doesn't matter if you're black or white, because black, white, Jews, everybody eats each other. So if you're uncomfortable, if you hear about mouse, should you be worried? Should your child say, oh my God, I wonder if that's me? No, that's not what they're going to say. They're going to say, I don't want to be like that.
Well, hopefully.
I want to be cool.
Yeah,
And
most kids, they don't want to be cruel.
No, they don't.
And we're living in an era where people are comparing vaccine cards to the yellow stars, where people are comparing vaccinations to what Anne Frank went through.
Yeah.
So it is necessary for kids to learn about the Holocaust.
Learn about man's inhumanity to man, however it exposes itself. I have to cut you off.
I just want to say that now.
God, she's fat.
Oh, yeah. He got real big.
Who?
She ain't working out.
Yeah, Whoopi.
It doesn't seem.
A couple of them. A lot of rotund ladies on that panel.
But anyway, so I want to know what you think about this, folks. I never thought one day I would see this type of conversation on TV. Really. I really. So in the last minute, I asked my experts, I want to hear from them what they think about that, all right? And my experts are here. I do want to hear about you from Super Chats or however. But I want to know what you think about that conversation. And then I will read a little later after we have the conversation what Whoopi Goldberg, her apology. She gave an apology after all that. So Hake is here. Hake is the host of the HakeReport.com from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Monday through Friday, right after my show, Hake, the Hake Report. And he's also one of my experts on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. Nick is here, the Anchor Baby. And he's the host now of Anchor Baby's new show on Fridays at 5 p.m. U.S. Pacific time. And he is also one of my producer and expert on the Jesse Lee Peterson. Last but not least, Chris, he white as snow. And he is the social media guy, the engineer here, and also an expert on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. And so I'll start with you today, Hake.
All right.
Had you seen this before right now?
I had heard and read a little bit, but I had not heard the clip, I don't think.
And when you first heard it, did you go, ooh?
I saw the
I'm
headline.
gonna tell mama.
I saw like some headline. Whoopi Goldberg said the Holocaust is not about race. I'm like, ooh.
You said what?
That the Holocaust was not about race. And I said, ooh, let me click on this.
Is this the Holocaust or the Holocaust?
Whatever. I don't know.
Have some reverence.
I pronounce it Holocaust, but I do not begrudge you the right to pronounce it Holocaust.
Well, I got that from the black. When I grew up, when I moved out here.
Yeah.
But anyway, what do you say about what you just heard there?
What a
Whoopi
nice point
Goldberg.
that she made. That was like going to like a deeper level of how human beings are evil to one another, as opposed to this shallow thing about making it about race, like pointing to the excuses that people make for why they think others hate each other or whatever. It was getting to the root issue. So that was such a nice point by her.
And what do you think of the women's reaction or responses to it?
It was interesting
That was
because
there on the panel.
This evil woman, who's the Nicaraguan or whatever she is, she's the anti-Trump rhino, former Republican. And Ana Navarro, I think is what her name is. I forget. But she said it is necessary for kids to learn about the Holocaust or something, because they're putting the yellow stars on the Jews to what we're doing with the vaccine cards and stuff.
I didn't understand when she said it. I just didn't get that point.
So people have said that, there's been other so-called authoritarian countries like Nazi Germany, was authoritarian and doing stuff, forcing the Jews and other people to wear like some symbol to separate them from society, from the rest of society.
Okay.
So in a similar way, they're trying to alienate and bring hate and scapegoat upon the unvaccinated, which is true.
Was she
They're
saying that's a
dehumanizing
bad
us.
thing to make the vaccinated people wear that?
No, she was saying that it's harmless to do that to unvaccinated people, but it was so evil to do that to Jews. When they were doing that to Jews, like I don't think that anybody really knew that they were going to be killing them and stuff, right? So we don't know what lies ahead with how these people hate the unvaccinated people. They would be glad to kill us. And then they also mentioned this book, Mouse, M-A-U-S, which...
When I heard her say mouse, I thought she meant a rat. I thought she was like...
Maybe
if
they
the kids
did.
see a rat running around the house, they're going to say, but what does they mean by mouse? I didn't know.
I don't know
understand
what
that.
mouse means. It may mean rat. But a Tennessee school board, I read this last week in Hake News, a Tennessee school board banned Mouse, M-A-U-S, a Pulitzer Prize-winning graphic novel, meaning comic book,
Oh,
big
that's
long
a
comic
book. Okay.
about the Holocaust for profanity and an image of a naked woman. So they banned that book, saying it wasn't appropriate for kids in schools.
And who was mouse?
I don't know. I don't know anything
okay.
about why it's called that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's called that because they use anthropomorphic mice to represent Jews and cats to represent Nazis.
Oh.
Oh.
It's called Mouse.
What? Somebody
That's
know history.
dehumanizing.
Make it kid friendly.
Yeah.
That's dehumanizing the
Yeah.
Nazis and the Jews. That's not good.
You can make the Holocaust kid friendly. Apparently.
Then how do they have a naked woman? Do they have a naked rat or naked cat? Or just a woman?
I don't know about all that.
If
I
you
just
feed
know-
the rats to the cats and
I
the
just
cats to
know-
the rats, you get the catskins for nothing.
Well, there are those cats that has no hair. I see
I
those
know.
little ratty-looking cats
Yeah.
with the big eyes. Mm-hmm. Ain't nothing in the world like a big-eyed girl to make me spend my money, maybe.
Yeah, it's funny how they were all
they selling. Oh, baby,
but they were
that's
all
the way I
repeating stuff that they heard, and just the common stuff that you always hear about the Holocaust, shallow stuff that you can't relate to, but everybody can relate to being evil to other people.
Yeah.
So I liked Whoopi's point. She slipped and made a great point.
I bet Whoopi was like, how did I have a deep moment? I've lost my blackness. Amazing. What do you think about the comment? I mean, that whole discussion with Whoopi and
Yeah.
those are guest hosts. I mean,
Co-hosts.
co-hosts, right? Okay, and her co-hosts.
Yeah, I was just laughing at how the like uproar on both sides. You got the conservatives trying to dunk on Whoopi, like, what are you crazy? Obviously it's about race, you racist. And then you
They
got
said that.
there's people like there's people calling her a racist for even saying that.
Anti-Semitic.
Oh, she's anti-Semitic for
Really?
saying that. And it's conservative people saying, obviously it's about race. That was obviously about race, you anti-Semite or whatever. So you got the mess, all the uproar on both sides, and it's funny to watch it all because she made a pretty much true statement.
About it being
About-
inhumane and
Right. She said it's about the inhumanity of man or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Now, of course, there seems to be a little bit of like hypocrisy in a sense, because I wonder if she would make the same deep point if you would like talk about Black Lives Matter or police brutality or anything like that.
oh, good point.
Yeah, I wonder if she'd be as ideologically consistent, but
Or this mess between the black and the white. The blacks are
Yeah,
blaming the
that's
whites.
not about race either.
Right. That's
Exactly.
That's definitely not about race.
and she says in her apology on Steve, she
well, we're
appeared
going to
on
get to the
Colbert.
apology.
All
Oh,
right.
go ahead.
But just quickly,
Yeah.
in the apology, she says how it's not about race, it's about evil. But I don't think she even realizes just how deep it is what she was saying.
Yeah. I was surprised to hear her be so deep.
Yeah.
Really?
But again, I don't know if she'd be as consistent if you bring the blacks and whites into it. And she's also saying like, this is just between whites. When it's between whites, is whatever. So this is white people fighting white people, so whatever.
Oh, she said it was white people fighting whites.
Yeah.
Well, she called it the Jews white.
Exactly.
Oh, because I don't know about now, but I don't know about most. I used to think that white people and Jews were the same. I couldn't tell the difference.
Same.
Now
I'm not sure, to be honest.
I couldn't tell, meaning that in the old days, I couldn't tell if a Jew was a white person. If I saw a white person and a Jew walking together, I wouldn't know the difference because they're both white.
Sure, you can make the mistake, but I still don't know if they are or not. I don't think so, right?
I asked the question out loud, and I've been told they're not the same.
Yeah, because there seems to be a sort of like descendants kind of thing. Like you have to have Jewish parents to be Jewish, but yet it's also a religion. So I don't know.
But I thought they looked alike.
That's another thing. There seems to be a nationality going
To
on.
the untrained eye.
Whatever.
What's the trained I see?
Well, according to Dylon,
Enlighten us.
my former de facto producer for the Hake Report, Dylon is mostly Jewish.
Yeah.
He said that their face is a little bit crooked or something.
Acromegaly.
I don't know. He can pick them out.
I could tell that my friend Dennis Prager is a Jew.
I can't tell that he is.
I can. He looked like a Jew. And then
I don't
when
know. I
I
haven't
would,
really looked closely at his face.
when I would go to his house on Friday nights for that Shabbat thing, it's called Shabbat?
I think so. Shabbat.
Yeah, Shabbat. The family members and friends, I could tell they were Jews. But if somebody walking down the road, I could kind of tell now because I look real hard.
Some of them I can tell.
Yeah. But anyway,
I've heard so many people look at someone and say, "Oh, that person looks Jewy," that I think I could see it now.
yeah.
But basically, the final thing here is like, I'm just watching the conservatives try and dunk on Whoopi Goldberg, and I don't know how did she get the name Goldberg. By the way, is she a black Israelite?
Isn't that a Jewish name? The
Is
last
she one of
name?
the original Jews? But anyways,
I often wonder how she got Goldberg and she's so black.
She was born Karen Elaine Johnson,
Is
known
her-
professionally
that's her
as
slave
Whoopi
name.
Goldberg.
How'd she get the last name? Did
It's
she
her
make it up?
professional
your
name.
That
grandfather
means
did.
she made it up.
I haven't looked. I haven't seen that far. This is all according to very trustworthy Wikipedia.
Oh, well, we can't trust them.
She gave up her slave name.
What do you think about it? That conversation there. I mean, Chris. Anything else, Nick, for that?
Yeah, that I'm watching the conservatives dunk on Whoopi Goldberg, and I'm like, it's interesting when conservatives are quick to like react to like a liberal and they're like,
Right.
"Oh, see, look, you're the racist," but it's like you're missing the point. You're missing the chance to bring some truth to the whole situation about, for example, racism and evil.
Yeah.
To just dunk on somebody.
Conservative Republicans are not what it used to be. They're following the lead of the Democrat and the media. They don't bring, conservatives used to bring insight to a situation, right? Republicans, when they were real Republicans, not rhinos, they would bring insight into a situation. Now they don't do that anymore. They go right along with it. No insight. You're absolutely right about that. Chris, what do you think? Had you seen that report before right now?
No, that was the first time I saw it.
And so your impression.
I mean, my general impression, I mean, it's just kind of similar with The View. I mean, they're just a bunch of like cackling hens. I don't really pay any mind to anything that they say, but specifically to Whoopi, what she was talking about, I mean, I think she was doing what's pretty typical of most people these days, but in her case, she's black, so she wanted to be special. And, you know, in the case of, you know, Jews and Germany during that time, yeah, they look alike. So to her, she's saying, oh, you know, white people are just not getting along. Her being black, she wants to be special. She wants to own the victim narrative. So that's why she's like, oh, that's why she was saying what she was saying, because it didn't involve blacks. She wanted to be special and stand out in that regard. You know, whether or not she de facto made, you know, some kind of decent point out of that, you know, remains to be seen. But that is what she was trying to do. She was trying to sort of, what's the word, shoehorn in black victimization into this other discussion about. I think that discussion started because they were talking about that graphic novel being taken out of the school system, which, I mean, if you're on TV or anything like that, I mean, it's not wise if you want to, you know, talk about the Holocaust and then put another spin on it. That's, I mean, you're asking for trouble when you do something like that, which gets the noggin jogging for me. But for Whoopi specifically, yeah, that was my take on it. She wanted to be special. She wanted it to be about her. She's black. She wants the race issue to be about black people.
Oh, I see.
So she's being scolded.
So when she said that it's just white people against whites,
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know exactly what she meant, but do you think that she meant it was just white people, not Jews against whites, or whites against Jews?
Yeah, I think in the point she was making, I mean, I really don't know how she sees,
Right.
you know, Jews and whites and that discussion. But yeah, I think that was the point that she was making, that she was like, oh, it's not about race, because even if whites and Jews are different, they look alike. And so she's being very topical about race, meaning like race is strictly the skin color. And because whites and Jews have the same skin color, it couldn't have been about race.
Oh, I got it.
Because they look very similar.
How do you respond to the other gals on that panel? Were they nervous or happy or couldn't believe it, or like, what the?
Yeah, it seemed like a combination of a few things. I couldn't really make heads or tails of like I said, there's just like a bunch of cackling hens, and it is a hot topic, you know, like Holocaust and race and all that stuff. So they're like, stick to the script.
Play the music.
Yeah, stick to the script. You can't do this or that. I don't know if anyone was mad. I think Joy Behar, that's her name, Joy Behar. I think she is Jewish. I don't think anyone else on the panel is Jewish.
Whoopi has said that she is.
That Joy is Jewish?
Well, Whoopi has said that Whoopi is Jewish.
Oh, Whoopi says she's Jewish? Oh, she's a black Israelite?
No, she said, my mother did not name me Whoopi. This is back in 2011, according to Wikipedia. But Goldberg is my name. It's part of my family, my heritage. Just like being black, I just know I am Jewish. I practice nothing. I don't go to temple, but I do remember the holidays. People would say, "Come on, aren't you Jewish?" And I was always say, "Would you ask me that if I was white? I bet not." But Henry Louis Gates, you know that Harvard, whatever that guy
Lord,
is,
what a mess.
he looked into her ancestry and said that she was mostly so-called African American and had no known German or Jewish ancestry.
Oh, I bet she didn't like that.
Or any of her ancestors named Goldberg.
And you got that from Wikipedia?
Yeah.
Oh.
Very trustworthy.
Chris, should she have apologized? Goldberg apologized after her comments. This is from the Daily Mail. After her comments on today's show, I said the Holocaust is not about race, but about man's inhumanity to man. I should have said it's about both, she said. I feel being black, when we talk about race, it's a very different thing to me. So I said I thought the Holocaust wasn't about race, and it made people very angry. I'm getting a lot of mail from folks and a lot of anger, but I thought it was a salient discussion because as a black person, I think of race as being something that I can see. Goldberg said that if the Ku Klux Klan were approaching, she would run, but a Jewish friend would be safe. And instead of the Nazi, and insist the Nazi wasn't racist, but rather evil. When I talk about being a racist, you can't call this racism. She said that this was evil. This wasn't based on skin. You could tell who was Jewish. You couldn't tell who was Jewish. You had to delve deeply and figure it out. My point is, they had to do the work. If the class is coming down the street and I'm standing with a Jewish friend, I'm going to run. But if my friend decides not to run, they'll get passed by most times. Oh, they'll get passed by most times because you can't tell who's Jewish. You don't know. How do you respond to that?
I mean, it's just all a bunch of nonsense to me. It's just like a bunch of gobbledygook. I mean, I don't. If you see the Klan walking down the street, enough of this Klan talk. I'm sick of people making this point. Yeah, I again, like, should she have apologized or not? I mean, she's a part of the system. Of course she's going to apologize. I mean, she made a stupid comment. I mean, you know, and stupid in a sense of that. I mean, in a literal sense, she is just dumb. I don't care what they're talking about. They can talk about whatever they want. But on TV, you got to stick to, you got to stick to a certain dialogue. You can't talk about certain things a certain way. But again, she made the apology, and she still tried to justify her point, the victim point, which was, oh, but I'm black, so the Nazi Jew thing is like irrelevant to me or something like that. Like, oh, the Klan, they're white, Jews, they're white. I see race as skin color, so I want to stand out. I want to be special. So I mean, that's me just trying to rationalize it. Right. I look at it as just like, she's dumb. She's on TV. TV's evil. She's evil. I mean, she gets what she deserves. I don't care. She can get fired. She could get a raise. Whatever. It doesn't matter to me.
And should she have apologized, and how? What do you think about her apology?
No, this is what I wanted to get to, because she shouldn't have apologized. She should have been more honest and just said what she really thinks, because in this response, she kind of proved. I was commenting earlier how I wonder if we flipped it and it was black and white, would she still be so all about the spirit? But I think, and like how Chris was saying, kind of eloquently put together the point. Basically, she's claiming a sort of like race victimization of racism is like a proprietary. It's only for blacks. You have to be black or a person of color to be a victim of racism. And so I don't think she should have apologized. She should have just been more honest about what she meant. But we're not gonna get that from these people.
Maybe she didn't know she was being a little deep. Maybe it was accidental.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think she was.
She doesn't think of it
I
as
don't think she
deep.
knows it like that.
Let me take. So last word about Whoopi. Were you done about?
I was pretty much done. I was just saying that her apology really proves, in like a subtle way, that I don't think she'd be as spiritual about it if you flip the tables to black and white.
Okay.
And really, she's trying to make a racial victimization proprietarily for people of color.
I want to really, really learn about, as I mentioned a couple weeks on my show, about, I noticed that the same thing happened between the races all around the world. Somebody hates some race, hate another race, and another race hate another race, and another race. And it's the same fight. But I don't know the cause of all this stuff. I do know the cause, but I want to know the truth of how it really gets started. And I don't know if I'll ever know unless God revealed to me. Because if you hate somebody, you're not going to be honest about why you hate them and why the race thing. But one day I find out, I want someone that is totally biased or non-biased. What is it? Biased or non-biased?
Yeah, it's someone that's not biased is what you
Not
want.
biased, right. But just tell, hey, here's the history of what happened. Here's the truth of it with the Jews and the Germans and the Allah Akbar people with the Christians and the Palestinians with the Jews and the whites with the blacks. I have some sense of what happened with the blacks and white because I'm in America, right? And I know what it was like before all the mess. And the Mexicans are just against El Salvadorans and El Salvador and Nicaragua.
Whoa.
You know what I'm saying? It's happening everywhere.
Yeah.
No race is left out. Everybody hates somebody. It's a mess.
It is quite funny how she did say that, what you said, though. So I don't know if it's just God loves a good laugh and made her say something true without her even knowing, but
Maybe God trying to tell her something.
yeah.
James, should she have apologized, and what do you think of the apology?
I didn't really hear her apologize.
I read it.
Did she say I apologize?
She said, Goldberg, according to the Daily Mail, Goldberg apologized after her comments. And she said, on today's show, I said the Holocaust is not about race, but about man's inhumanity to man. I should have said it's about both, she said.
Yeah.
But she didn't say, I apologize. I guess Jesus, right. But she did do a little bit of walking back, a little bit of groveling.
If she went on Colbert to talk about this, she was doing a little bit of groveling, I guess.
Yeah.
But
She said, I feel being black when talk about race, it's a very different thing to me. So I said, I thought the Holocaust wasn't about race because she's black, so it's a very different thing to her.
Yeah.
What the?
it just proves that nobody likes anybody.
I'm telling you.
What a mess.
It's happening around the world. It's not just stabilized in one country.
She should not apologize, I don't think. She should say what she thinks, and we should get away we should push against this culture that you have to pander just because people are offended, especially when usually it seems like when you make something close to a good point.
Yeah.
Or you just speak your mind. People are getting stifled for speaking their mind. It's ridiculous.
I do know that.
It's not good for the culture.
I do know that there's, and I've said it over and over, there's no such thing as racism, sexism, homophobism, Islamophobism, Debidatism, Allah Akbarism, white supremacism, or anti-Semitism. It's a spiritual battle, right and wrong, good versus evil. And just, I'm clear about that.
Yeah.
But the world attaches names to things so you don't see clearly it's a spiritual battle. Because if you look at the naming in it, if you look at the words that the world attached to it, you're not going to overcome it. You got to have higher consciousness so you see the depths of what's going on. One quick thing that just occurred to me, and then I got to let y'all go.
All right.
Last night, Tucker Carlson did an amazing thing on the weakness of white people. I think Tucker listened to my show too, or somebody telling him.
Yeah.
'Cause the Western part of the world is done by white people, right? They created the Western part, right?
Yeah.
The best countries and all that. Well, last night Tucker said, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't have his exact word, that he noticed that the Western world is very weak and pathetic. I don't know if he used the word pathetic, but he noticed how they're all caving in.
Yep.
And I'm like, well, I had almost a whole hour on the weakness of white people. They like giving up. They laid their weapon down without even one shot being fired, meaning that they're not speaking up at all. They just caved in. And when I heard him talking about that, I'm like, wow, that is so true. The whole Western world, except for that Hungary country
And maybe Poland.
and Poland,
Yep.
are giving up. Isn't that amazing?
It is. It's a shame. It's ridiculous. It's like a soft. I keep on calling it a soft evil.
I would love to understand. I think I already know anyway, but I would love to understand what happened to white men that they went from a strength to weakness, complete weakness. Because if it wasn't for white people, there would be no Western countries.
Yeah.
Everybody be staying at home in their own mess because the whole world would be a mess. But the whites found it and created the best countries in the world, and U.S. being number one. But yet it became very weak at some point. And that's very interesting to me.
Yeah, it is.
Doesn't Darren Beatty write for Tucker or something?
No, he writes for. I don't think that he writes for Tucker, but he writes for Revolver News.
I'm aware of that.
And
I thought he was
Tucker
also
references
involved.
Revolver News. I don't. And he
And you've
appeared
been on Revolver a couple times.
Right. I've been on Revolver News. What the?
Darren Beatty appeared on the Patriot Purge documentary too.
Oh. But very interesting discussion.
Yeah.
Did you hear Tucker last night or no?
No.
Yeah, very
I'm gonna have to
interesting.
check it out.
Did you hear that about the white nations being weak?
I didn't hear that. No.
Yeah, it was a very good point. And I think he may have, I don't know, but because I seem to be the only one really asking about this. I really want to understand, really, above all things, get an understanding. What are you talking about today on the Hate Report?
Well, it is a surprise. I was going to be touching on a little bit on Whoopi Goldberg, but
You're not anymore?
I may a little bit, yeah. Kyle Rittenhouse's gun is going to be destroyed. Some judge approved this deal. You know, the gun that he used to defend himself against the several attackers?
Right.
More than 3 attackers, really. You know how George Zimmerman, he got to auction his gun that he used to defend himself against that thug Trayvon, but Kyle's not going to get to auction off his gun.
And Kyle, a white man?
Of course.
Is he Christian?
I believe so.
I rest my case.
Yeah.
That's why he loses. They're going to destroy his gun?
Yeah.
Can they do that if he was found not to be guilty?
I don't know what the
How can they take his gun and
deal is.
destroy it?
Maybe he agreed to this, but doesn't seem right.
Okay, so you'll be discussing that.
Yeah. By the way, I found out that Joy Behar, according to Wikipedia, is Italian.
Really?
But that's basically the same thing as Jewish. I think she married a couple of Jewish guys.
How's
That's the
Italian?
same.
How's Italian the same thing as Jewish? Italian like spaghetti and meatballs.
I know, but Americans don't like. Real Americans don't really like the Italians because they came in here
But that doesn't
bringing.
mean the Jews want them.
I know, but
You go to just throw them on the Jews?
because they
What?
they have that same. Oh, we were called N-word wops.
But that doesn't make them Jewish, though.
They feel like victims, just like the Jews, and Democrats.
But the blacks feel like victims, too. Are they Jewish?
Basically.
Some are, apparently.
Whoopi Goldberg is, according to her.
What the?
Anyway, that's that.
All right. The last word about whatever, Chris.
I hope Whoopi learned her lesson. Jeez.
That is so white. Amazing. Well, thank you all. Let me hear from the experts. I do appreciate it. Amazing. Amazing. And don't forget to like, follow, tweet, subscribe, and share the Jesse Lee Peterson radio show, folks. We really appreciate it. We are at war. It is a spiritual battle for the soul of America. And it's going to take all of us to do it.